In a significant escalation of the conflict, Ukrainian forces have launched a major offensive into Russian territory. This marks a new phase in the war, bringing the fight directly to Russia's doorstep. The offensive, now in its second week, is focused on the Belgorod region. This area holds strategic importance as it borders Ukraine. This incursion represents the most extensive operation of its kind since the war began in February 2022. It is a bold move by Ukraine, spearheaded by President Volodymyr Zelensky. The offensive has taken many by surprise, signaling a shift in the dynamics of the conflict. This operation is not merely symbolic. It carries real strategic weight and aims to achieve concrete objectives. Its success so far underscores the growing capabilities and determination of the Ukrainian military. Ukraine's offensive in Belgorod is driven by a clear set of military and political objectives. Firstly, it aims to disrupt Russian military operations and logistics. By striking targets within Russia, Ukraine seeks to degrade Russia's ability to wage war effectively. Secondly, the offensive is designed to increase pressure on the Russian government. Bringing the conflict directly to Russian soil exposes the costs of war to the Russian public. This, Ukraine hopes, will erode domestic support for the conflict. The offensive has already inflicted heavy losses on Russian forces. It has also exposed vulnerabilities in Russia's defenses. This success demonstrates the effectiveness of Ukraine's strategy and the increasing strength of its military. The Kremlin's initial response to the Ukrainian offensive was marked by an attempt to downplay its significance. However, as Ukrainian forces advanced deeper into Russian territory, this strategy quickly unraveled. The Kremlin has since resorted to portraying the offensive as a terrorist attack orchestrated by Ukraine. Despite these efforts to control the narrative, the situation on the ground tells a different story. The declaration of a state of emergency in Belgorod, coupled with reports of panicked civilian evacuations, reveals a growing sense of anxiety within Russia. The effectiveness of Russia's military response remains questionable. Reports suggest low morale among Russian troops and shortages of essential equipment. The Ukrainian offensive has shaken Russia's confidence and exposed its vulnerability. Section 4. Crisis in Belgorod, a region in chaos. The Ukrainian offensive has had a devastating impact on the Belgorod region. The declaration of a state of emergency reflects the gravity of the situation. Local authorities are struggling to cope with the influx of refugees fleeing the fighting. Essential services have been disrupted, leading to shortages of food, water, and medical supplies. The civilian population is caught in the crossfire, facing the brunt of the conflict. The offensive has resulted in civilian casualties and widespread damage to infrastructure. The situation in Belgorod is a stark reminder of the human cost of this conflict. As the fighting continues, the humanitarian crisis is likely to worsen. This underscores the urgent need for a peaceful resolution. Section 5. The world reacts. A mixture of concern and inaction. The international community has reacted to the escalation of violence in Belgorod with a mixture of concern and condemnation. Western governments have expressed support for Ukraine's right to defend its territory. However, they have also urged restraint to prevent further escalation. The United Nations has called for an immediate ceasefire and a return to dialogue. However, concrete actions to address the situation have been limited. Sanctions imposed on Russia have failed to deter its actions. There is little appetite for direct military intervention by Western powers. This reluctance stems from fears of provoking a wider conflict with Russia, a nuclear-armed state. The lack of a unified and decisive response from the international community is concerning. Section 6. An uncertain future. The stakes could not be higher. The Ukrainian offensive in Belgorod has injected a new level of volatility into the conflict. The future trajectory of the war is now even more uncertain. While Ukraine has demonstrated its ability to take the fight to Russia, its long-term capacity to sustain such operations remains to be seen. Russia, despite its initial setbacks, retains a significant military advantage. It is likely to retaliate fiercely to any further Ukrainian advances. The potential for the conflict to escalate beyond the borders of Ukraine is a growing concern. The involvement of NATO members in supplying arms and intelligence to Ukraine raises the risk of a direct confrontation with Russia. This scenario could have catastrophic consequences. The situation in Belgorod highlights the delicate balance of power in the region and the urgent need for a peaceful resolution.